What's up, Tokyo Brandon here. Today I'm going to break down another Japanese baseball interleague series. This is the series that starts on Friday night and goes to Saturday and Sunday. 3 game series. We've got the Hanshin Tigers going to play the Saitama Seibu Lions at MetLife Stadium in Saitama. So, as I said in the last video, what I like to do when I break down a series is I like to look at 3 major components, which is starting pitching, bullpen, and lineup. So let's look at those factors in this series here. The first thing we got to take into consideration is since the Pacific League teams are hosting all the series from Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the DH rule is in effect, so no pitchers will be batting. So we can expect the scores to be a little bit higher than they have been. I've seen 8 once or twice. So that's where we're at. Most of them are 6.5, 7, 7.5. 7.5 has been pretty much the max most of the games so far this season. So let's take a look at what we got here. We've got 2 teams with really good lineups. First, let's look at Seibu. Seibu's lineup is really good. They're missing a couple of important pieces in their lineup, including Sotozaki and Kaneko, but they've filled them up really well. So Seibu has no problem putting runs on the board. Let's look at Hanshin. Hanshin Tigers are probably the best or second best hitting team in Japan. They've got 2 exceptional rookies that nobody thought they'd be performing this well in Nakano and Sato, just crushing it. From 1 to 8, very little holes in that lineup, very few weaknesses. They're very solid. Maybe not quite as solid as Yomiuri's lineup, but very solid lineup. They got Oyama back from a 2-week hiatus from injury. He's clubbing it as well. So we've got 2 really good lineups, and Hanshin's is a little bit better, but 2 really good lineups. Take a look at starting pitching. The rotation for the Seibu Lions is poor. They have 2 good guys, but good means a little bit better than average. They're a little better than mediocre, and that's Matsumoto and Takahashi. So any other starting pitcher besides those 2, I would not bet my mortgage on them. So let's look at the other side. The Hanshin Tigers, their starting lineup, really solid. Nishi is their ace, Nishi Yuki. Very solid, very good starting pitcher. They've got Joe Gunkel. They've got quite a few other pitchers who can hold it down. I give a slight advantage to Hanshin's starting pitching. Let's look at the bullpens. Both bullpens are atrocious. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Seibu's is the worst in Japan. 12 out of 12 they rank. Hanshin's ranks 10 out of 12. So we got 2 terrible bullpens. Just awful. So what do you do in a series like this when you have 2 really good lineups, 1 mediocre rotation, 1 fairly decent rotation, and 2 awful bullpens? You look at the overs. Also, one thing to note is the Hanshin Tigers with Sands. They've got Marte. They've got a lot of guys who can club it. They're the best hitting team in the first 5 innings so far this season as well. And Seibu ranks 5th out of 12 in the first 5. So in this series, I'm going to be looking at a lot of first 5 games. I looked at FanDuel earlier, and they do offer team totals for first 5, and they also offer first 5 3-way money lines. 3-way money line is basically the same thing as a first 5 run line, minus half a run. So in this series, obviously it depends on the starting pitching, but pretty much any game, I'm going to be looking at Hanshin on the first 5, 3-way money line, or first 5 run line. I'm going to be looking at a lot of overs, and I've just put a little simulation between these two teams together, and I'm seeing an average of 9.7 runs per game. So if you see a game total of 7, 6.5, 7.5, we could tend to bet the overs on those. What else am I going to be looking at? I'm going to be looking at team totals. Most of the team totals have been coming out at 3.5s. I would take it over 3.5 for either one of these teams on a team total with these bad bullpens. I would also take an over 1.5 in the first 5 team totals. Those are also offered in many books in the U.S., including FanDuel. So those are the things I'm going to be looking at in this 3-game series between the Hanshin Tigers as they go to the MetLife Dome to play the Lions. That's my preview for this series, guys. I hope you find it helpful. Hope you win your bets. I'll be betting these games as well, and I'll be putting my bets out on my page at WagerTalk. Go check me out, WagerTalk. I am Tokyo Brandon. Salute.